Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Hey, Primatech peeps. Welcome back to the Primatech Files, Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes related, as well as its sister / prequel show, Heroes Reborn. On the hunt for specials with me is
Ricky, yeah.
And I'm Lilith, because I forgot. Up for discussion today is episode 316, Building 26.
Yes, the Stone Cold episode.
The only thing I have to say to this whole thing is, well, that escalated quickly.
Well, you know, they only had, 10 episodes in this, I think? 10 episodes in this volume, so, yeah. It makes for really quick and really, really quite exciting episodes, I think, anyway. But, yeah, I'm sure I'll change my mind over the course of the episode.
As we usually do. So, yeah, let's just jump right into the recap with some technical specs. The original air date for this episode is February 16, 2009. This episode was written by Rob Fresco, and it was directed by Sergio Mimica Gazan. And I believe Ricky has a synopsis for us.
Yes, Nathan's plans face exposure when the President orders Homeland Security to start an investigation. Sylar embarks on a trip to find his father with assistance from Luke, unaware of their pursuit by Nathan's agents. Elsewhere, Matt's prophetic... It always makes it sound like I'm saying pathetic, but yeah. Images lead Hiro and Ando to India, and the heroes receive help from a mysterious ally.
Yeah, I think you covered all the major players and plot points. Let's talk about some people, places, and things you need to know about. We've got Abby Collins, Alec Woosley, that's a hell of a last. Annapurna, her restaurant, Deepak, Homeland Security Agent 1 and 3. We got Mark Leggett, and Olympic Coffee Shop and Restaurant, plus Underwater Breathing, and ZZ's Top Guy.
You said Agent number 1 and number 3. Was there an Agent 2? No?
I don't know. I'm going along with them. It's like, do they not know how Roman numerals work or not? So that's all the people we need to know. Abby Collins, though, I was just kept trying to think, what? She's the chick that works in Homeland Security.
Yeah,
She's the president's little liaison or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. She's, I just remember her from One Tree Hill.
Oh my god, Ricky, you watched that show?
No, I've watched, episodes and she's in it. She's the mom.
Oh.
And she's also Abby...
Guess they ran out of Glee people.
She's also Abby Collins, which I think doesn't play a big role in Heroes Reborn, but still.
Oh, she's reprising her role?
No. It's just, Luke Collins, Joanne Collins. I don't think they're related, but yeah, whatever.
Wouldn't it be funny if it is, though?
She just turns up as I knew there was something wrong with these people all the way back in Building 26. Because they never reference it as, Building 26, do they? It's always 26, but yeah.
I think that's a Washington, D.C. thing. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the breakdown. Yeah. Where do you start?
I guess we'll start with the whole Building 26 stuff. So, Danko, Noah, and I guess Abby and Nathan, that kind of storyline type of stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I know, right? I just got to bring up, awkward Bennet breakfast, because, they had awkward Bennet butler dinner before. So, yeah, they start off with Noah having breakfast with the family, and, it's just so weird. Obviously, Sandra still's not in the know, or, maybe she is, but, she's smarter than the average bear. But, yeah, it's just doo-doo. That beginning bit, it's just... I don't know what it is about the Bennets and their...
They're like, Lyle's here, let's give him a lie. Poor Lyle.
What is a consultant? Duh.
Depends on the industry, honestly.
Fair enough. But I do like the fact that he's got And I just do a bit of consulting, and I'm like, yeah, sounds
on
about
paper,
right.
or like, does Lyle still believe that lie at this point?
Lyle, like, in this episode, just seems like a typical teenager. He just does not give a crap about anything that is going on.
Like, thank God for text messages, right? Because that was just...
The only things really is, like, you've got kind of Danko nipping at the heels of Bennet throughout the whole episode and just trying to, you know, work him out still at this point. And, yes... Danko's got his own little storyline, which we'll cover with Abby. But, yeah, we might as well just start off with Abby, basically. Abby turns up at Building 26, says that she's here to, like, create reports or something, or see how the money's being spent. And Nathan's like, well, you know, we'll show you our prisoners. We need more money to kind of imprison them, I guess, is for lack of a better word. And, of course...
Long-term containment, sir.
Yes. And, of course... Abby and Tracy know each other, and that leads to human rights violations, all that kind of stuff. The Patriot Act and rights, you know, all these kind of buzzwords that...
It's like, because I'm English, I don't give a crap about. And I'm sitting over here shaking my head when they use these terms. Even back then, I was just like, really? Okay.
And, yeah, so she's threatening to shut down the program.
The whole operation.
Yeah, the whole operation, and... Somehow Tracy escapes, and Abby's there to witness her using her powers, and then, the full might of the American government is coming down, and, you know, Nathan gets his money, and all is well for Senator Petrelli.
Self-loathing bastard that he is.
I know, right? That storyline's just... The storyline's very simple, and you know where it's going pretty much as soon as, like, it all starts to kick off. Obviously, you've got Danko, who is... You know, he will do anything to try and keep the program going. And how he finds time to, like, loosen her chains throughout the whole thing without her knowing is beyond me. But, you know, convenient plot point is convenient.
Well, no, like, it comes up in the next episode, doesn't it? Where they accuse each other of doing it?
No, I think it's always... I don't know. But yeah. No, it comes up in this episode. He says how, you know, Nathan, like, accuses him of just saying... No, he doesn't even accuse him. He says those buy-ins went off pretty quickly or something like that. And yeah, and then there's nothing really said about it. He just walks away like, you know, I do what I have to do.
Yeah, this episode is a little blurry for me, too.
But yeah, I think Abby does raise some interesting points in general, you know, like, what rights do these people have? You know, they're American citizens who haven't...
But they're classified as terrorists under the Patriot Act. It's like, even though they are American citizens, and as the years have gone on, if anybody pays attention to the news, which I doubt, because people are as outraged as I am, it gets even grayer and grayer to the point where we're bombing our own, like, citizens, even though they're on foreign soil. It's still one of our citizens, so it's just like, maybe Tim Crean was paying attention. It's just frustrating.
And then you've got, like, little bits going on throughout the whole episode, like, obviously, you know, you got Nathan playing the good cop about specials, and Danko playing the bad cop, and it just ends, like, obviously Danko and Noah have, like, a lot of kind of friction between them, and we'll find out more about that in the next episode. But the episode ends with Noah being captured in what seems a bit reminiscent of Parkman being captured by the Haitian, you know, just that kind of...
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw that.
I thought that was, It's really creepy as well, the way that they all just kind of stand up out of nowhere.
Our friend just needs a little help.
Yeah.
Hashtag rapey.
Our friend had a drink or three. I was like, oh, eye roll. But yeah, that's how Noah ends. That's how the episode ends. So yeah, there's nothing really much. The kind of government storyline plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out in this episode. So yeah.
No, and then it, like, really what it comes down to is, like, Clear starting to try to be a special social worker again with this whole Alex thing.
Yeah, but then that comes into that kind of special social worker is really tested in the next couple of episodes. But yeah, I kind of like that aspect of it. So yeah, we might as well just go straight on to Sandra, Claire, and Alex.
Yeah, so while they were having that awkward family breakfast with waffles and chocolate milk, Claire gets a text message from Rebel about this guy that he needs her to warn over at Sam's Comics. And so she does that, and they stay just ahead of the team that's out to apprehend them, and she hides them in her house.
Yeah.
Because that's smart.
Of course.
Yeah.
This episode has Claire snitching on Noah And I don't know what she thought.
Snitches get stitches,
Exactly.
Claire.
I don't know what she thought was exactly going to happen after, telling on Dad. But obviously, Sandra does what you would expect her to do and kick him out. And then,
Finally.
yeah, and Claire's there like, the solitary one tear. I'm like, what are you crying about? It's your own fault, love. You're the one who did it. I have no sympathy for you.
Uh-oh, Ricky's very upset. He's used the word love in a very condescending manner.
But yeah, there's some really weird bits in it. Like, I don't know, like when Claire tells Sandra about Noah, she goes, he's capturing our friends. He's capturing Hiro Nakamura.
That's your friend. She don't know these people.
Exactly. And then she goes, and Matt Parkman. I'm sure the last time that Matt Parkman met Sandra Bennet, he had a gun to like her family. So I don't think she's going to be too cut up about that. Then the thing about the Bennets is it's, you've seen this family like pretty much being torn apart like every season, and it's just really tiresome at this point, I think. Anyway,
I agree. Like, but I was so glad that Sandra put Noah out, because that's the one thing. Like, okay, he doesn't have the Haitian, and he's been messing up, and she remembers. When's it gonna happen?
I know, right? And I think it's a good thing that Alex is there, because he can not take her mind off it, but it won't. That means the storyline won't be about, the continued storyline in the next couple of episodes won't be about Claire moping about. She's gonna have to do something in order to look after this guy, and then afterwards she'll have to deal with the fact that, her parents seem to be splitting up or whatnot. So I think that's a good idea to have him like around, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
And with Claire and comics, you get the typical pretty girl in a comic book store. I know, right?
Kill that nerd culture fallacy, please.
I know,
It's embarrassing.
And it's even like, it's not even just that. It's just the way that they portray comic book quote unquote geeks in the next episode, in like the next couple of episodes as well. But we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Let's talk about Sylar and Luca heading west to find Samson Gray. I wonder if we're gonna cut his hair. Oh God, Luke was so annoying in this episode.
But I think that's the whole point of him. Like, the only reason he's there is to have someone for Sylar to bounce off. And I don't know, when I first heard that they were bringing in like someone for Sylar, I thought it was going to be like a kind of sidekick kind of role, as in he's going to teach him how to be a quote unquote bad guy. But it didn't end up being that. It ended up being Sylar's like sounding board for why he's doing what he's doing, and that's all the character really was. It wasn't anything more than that. But I do totally agree, he was quite annoying, but you can also see at the same time it's like a little kid, act a bit hard and playing a bit with the person who's older than him and just being shot down like every time.
Yeah, I didn't like it. The only thing I liked is that Luke called Sylar a serial killer, and then Sylar's like, hold on, wait. He's like, oh snaps, I really am a serial killer.
Technically, I am a serial killer, but yeah. But yeah, I do like that as well. The way that he's saying, you've got a pattern, you keep keepsakes and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I kind of am.
And I love how they just, as they drive, the camera on the overpass takes the steel, and that's how the analysts find him.
Yes.
Like, it's not some mystery,
Yeah.
but he thinks it is. Is that all that happens to them? Oh yeah, then you have Ando and Hiro go to India.
Which, after everything that's kind of happened with Hiro in the past couple of episodes, it feels like they're trying to go back to old school comedy Hiro, and it just doesn't really play out. Yeah, but also it's giving us another story of Hiro being a hero without his powers, which we got already. He saved the formula without his powers. So yeah, I don't know why they did that.
Well, I thought it was to show that Ando could be a hero, even without Hiro, maybe. And I like that conflict that they're still having, obviously, because now he has this power.
Yeah.
And Hiro's the one all about destiny, and Ando up until this point hadn't been.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Hiro was like, this is just kind of like one of those childish, selfish moments. This is my thing!
Yeah.
I was here first!
But it also seems, well, you've got jealous Hiro, but he also seems like, obviously since he's lost his powers, he's got a bit of an inferiority complex, and that's where that whole, it's mine kind of spoilt only child kind of syndrome comes from. So yeah. And is it me, or did you, kind of get the feeling that Annapurna was, a lesbian?
I thought that was explicitly implied, no question about it, but her grandfather, because it's still frowned on in that culture or whatever, they need to pass their possessions and stuff through the male line and all this other stuff. I was just like, okay, that's an interesting storyline. Wish we could have kind of not just glossed over this, but whatever.
But yeah, that's pretty. You know what?
That's all that happened. Okay, let's just get into the review and talk about stuff that we liked and stuff that we didn't. So, best character? For me, it's between Annapurna and DS Agent 4. I'm kidding about the DS Agent 4. I liked Annapurna. I liked her backstory. It's just like kind of a shame we glossed right over it for, man pain.
I am probably going to go with... You know what? I'll go for Ando. I kind of like Ando in this episode. He's kind of... It's not like he's trying to outshine Hiro in this, but, he sees his opening. He goes to help Annapurna, and that's what happens. But, obviously, it's that weird kind of thing of the future's been set in this kind of stone of, the painting. And by Ando actually going and helping out this girl, that's what kind of makes it happen.
And, he just shows his power.
Yeah, he does that all the time, yeah. He does not care about anyone knowing that he has a power. But I like, she's looking for a sign, and that's the kind of sign. I also really like the sound effects for his powers. It's really I don't know what it is, but it's really cool.
Okay, best scene?
Scene? I think I'm going to go for the slow-mo Sylar at the end. All that was missing was a massive explosion as he was carrying Luke out.
I know, right? Literally.
Yeah, if it was a Michael Bay film, it would have been, massive explosion. But we kind of glossed over the fact of that. Basically, they end up in a diner, and the agents come to collect them, and what's his name? Luke kind of causes the distraction, and then they both jump out the window. Super slow motion, of course. Sylar gets into the car and just leaves Luke. Luke gets tased, and basically ends up with Sylar coming back, dressing up as one of the guards and taking everyone out. And taking this box, which...
This is where completely, utterly, Sylar is irreversibly damaged, in my opinion. Let a bad guy be a bad guy. This was the beginning of the end for Sylar.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, he ends up coming back for Luke and walking out super slow-mo. No explosion behind him. So yeah, I kind of...
Like a boss!
Yeah. Of course, once again, this being Heroes, it's all done behind closed doors. But you don't really need that much to be seen about that, because you've seen Sylar kick ass all the time, and I think having it behind the closed doors, because it's with humans, it's fine, because all it's going to be is just swiper don't swiping people, just pushing people telekinetically and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I think my favorite scene is basically Tracy's break, and she freezes the guy, and everybody's like, oh! Yeah. But then my favorite moment is when Anna's like, your name sounded familiar. I had a fax from somebody named Rebel saying you need to save Matt Parker. And he was like, it's my destiny! Get her out of here!
I just like the fact that they're still using fax machines. But yeah.
Well, it is India.
What else have we got?
I'm blind.
I will go with, wow, so you're like a serial killer. I'm not a serial killer, but you've got a pattern. You go after specific victims. You collect mementos. Okay, technically I'm a serial killer.
Sylar to Luke. Luke, you really gotta stop trying to be my friend or I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, same. I find it terrifying that I'm totally identifying with Sylar in some of these things.
And yeah, that is basically it. What are you gonna do for grade?
I'm gonna go C-.
I think I'm gonna have to go for that as well. Yeah, it is rough. I might even have to go to a D+, because at the beginning of this podcast, I completely thought that this was another episode. That's why I kind of bigged it up.
That's instantly an F at that point.
So yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll go with a D+, just because I thought it was another episode, and now just looking back on it, I'm just seeing how disappointed I was.
Nobody I cared about was really in it.
I think
what's Angela and Peter doing? That's all I could think of. What is everybody else up to? Where's Matt?
But
it's bad.
It is a filler episode, and it gets stuff done. They kind of have to have the government be more backing of Nathan's plan, and that's what happens in this one. You also get more information on how people are being tracked from, the Sylar kind of storyline. Whilst Sandra, Noah kind of storyline, it doesn't seem like that dynamic. It's a filler for the next episode, which is so much better. And it's not that Sanders' episode from season 1 that we hated so much, but it is a filler episode that you need especially with what's coming and what's come before. I think it's a needed kind of break.
I don't think it was a needed break. I think it was just needed setup,
Yes.
unfortunately. And, like, the ending of this episode, I'm sorry. Like, I like the next episode and everything, but the ending for this episode made the next episode think in your head, oh, this is going to be epic. We got Matt, we got Mohinder. They about to gang up on Noah. Oh, yeah. And they kind of do, but then it's kind of a letdown.
Well, of course, it's Noah. He knows what to do. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So do we have any, like, trivia, graphic novel?
The only trivia I have are the two songs that are playing in the car, which is, the first song is Psycho Killer, and the next one is Born to Be Wild. Those are both playing in Sylar's radio as they are having their conversations, which I think...
the talking heads, always a good choice.
You know, yuck, yuck, yuck. There's a Psycho Killer, and they are Born to Be Wild, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The graphic novel is called The Swimmer, and it gives us backstory into Alex. And basically, it's just Alex talking about his life prior to meeting Claire. And he kind of looks through these kind of moments in his life, like him swimming, him like earning cash to go to college, all that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, it's him looking back at those same moments, but questioning them at the same time, because obviously, you know, he's swimming, but he realizes then that he's got a power when he's like working at the comic book store. That's probably where people were looking at him. So that's all I really got from it. The only kind of trivia there are is several references to Aspen comics, including comic book issues Shrugged, Soulfire, and Fathom. Most notably, Aspen Matthews' images appears on a surfboard. Aspen Matthews has the ability to breathe underwater, as does Alex Woosley. So yes.
Okay, well, this one, the story was by DJ Doyle. We have Mega Ganell coming back, and the Easter egg is behind-the-scenes image of Moira Kelly.
Yes. Abby Collins.
Yes.
I have the live tweeters. So the people who live tweeted along with us, they were either tweeting, retweeting, or faving during the episode live tweet. We have Nemesis1HD, Luke Aviator, Soft_Guitar60, English Idiot 101, and that is all. Thank you very much for joining us.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at primatechfiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn. And if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RickyJDiaz, or Z if you're American.
And we're at the wrap-up. So that is all we have for you on this week's discussion of episode 316. Hope you enjoyed this brief yet just brief conversation about that episode.
So sorry. We promised, like, when we got into Fugitives that it was going to be much longer, much more in-depth conversations about these episodes. But yeah, this one came along.
The next episode. No worries.
Exactly.
So yeah, please do remember to send us some emails. Don't be afraid to interact with our Facebook post, like, comment, share. And if you have time, our time live tweeting is coming quickly to an end, so please be sure to get in on the fun. We do 2 live tweets, sometimes more, every weekend, mostly Saturdays, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join in on the fun while you can.
Download the podcast, save the world.